Armed youths in Lagos State have had enough of hoodlums and their attacks and are now protesting against them. And once again, the secretary to the government of the Federation, the SGF, Boss Mustafa, speaks again, and this time he admits the truth as regards Abba Kyari's burial and basic infrastructures in Nigeria. This is Plus Politics, and I am Benny Ark. Armed youths who protested against alleged attacks by hoodlums known as the 1 Million Boys threw residents of Mushin, Oworan-Shoki, Shomolu, Bariga, and Isolo areas of Lagos State into a state of panic. It was reported that the demonstrations in these areas were as a result of the continuous attacks launched by the hoodlums on residents during the lockdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. It was gathered that the suspected hoodlums had planned to strike on Monday, but youths in the affected areas armed themselves to repel the impending attacks. And joining us to have a conversation on this is a security expert, Dickson Osajie, live in the studio. And also via Skype is Onyekachi Adekoya, also a security expert. Thank you, Onyekachi, for joining us via Skype.
Thank you for having me.
And Dickson in the live studio. Thank you for joining us, Dickson.
Nice to be here, Benny.
Now, let's start off this way. I mean, there were definitely meant to be security implications of the lockdown, and we did bother about this the last time we were on the show together. What do you think is playing out here? I'll go with you first, Onyekachi.
If you ask me, my sincere opinion is that people are becoming a bit hysterical, and in a situation of crisis like this, people tend towards all sorts of things just to get information. So the incidents in Mushin and Bagada, Shomolu axis, were pretty much just fake news. Some people had insinuated that there was impending attack from the 1 Million Boys, and people came out in their numbers, which is why we always advise that in a crisis situation, always vet and verify your source of information before you go out to act. So I think we are almost nearing a state of hysteria amongst the members of public, and we just advise them to take these informations a bit more with a pinch of salt.
Earlier on in our news, we have the PPRO, Police of Lagos State, and he had this to say. Take a look. Now, on the update of security in Lagos, what is exactly the police doing to ward off the growing attacks against citizens during this lockdown?
Well, we have our patrols ongoing. We have also our surveillance teams out there. The Commissioner of Police is also personally leading his own patrol team. We are right on the road now. That is why you can hear the noise. Nobody is in the office anymore, right from the inception of the lockdown. I can't even remember sleeping for more than 2 hours in a day from the commencement of this lockdown in Lagos. So we are all out to be sure that Lagosians are safe, to be sure that the lives and properties of the citizens are fully protected. That we have done even in the first 2 weeks, and we will still do it till the end of this challenge to overcome it together and even beyond.
All right. Now, there have been instances where some citizens had got hold of some of these hoodlums, but complained that the police refused to come and take them away. Are you very much aware of this development?
You see, the big challenge we have, about a few days to the end of the first 2 weeks, that is when we have issues, a lot of messages sent online on social media, creating panic that some set of criminals that attacked 1 Million Boys are coming to invade some communities, to attack communities, to rob some communities. That rumor became so thick, and the calls we are coming seconds by seconds. Then spontaneously also you have some young people coming out with all manner of weapons, under the name of also protecting their neighborhoods. Now, from the first few days, you see them burning tires, creating more panics and more fears. The message is the same everywhere, that they are out to protect their communities because they heard that some criminal elements are coming. And I'm not sure up to now, those criminal elements have invaded any community because as far as we are concerned, they don't exist. And there is no criminal gang in Lagos that has the capacity to override the state. There is none. There is no single one. Because Lagos has one of the best security architecture in Nigeria. We have the best personnel, the resources. We have been doing it over the years. We have been dealing a big blow on criminal gangs, all those gangs and cultists. We have been dealing with them. And there is no gang, no group whatsoever. I repeat, I'll say this with all level of boldness, that there is none that has the capacity to face us or has the capacity to override the state.
Interesting, you're trying to repose confidence in the residents of Lagos State about you people being on top of the matter. But I want to ask you this. Has there been any arrests since this court violence in parts of Lagos? If yes, have they been prosecuted?
We have over 200 suspects arrested, hoodlums in specific terms.
Okay.
We have also violators also arrested in large number. In one of the operations, we have about 202 arrested violators, hoodlums over 200 arrested. Before the lockdown, we have over 800 of the hoodlums arrested. The 800 are in prison already. The 200 also we got within this period also, we have charged to court also, because we have court sitting for this purpose. Courts were also on holidays because of the lockdown. But
Bala Elkanah, the PPRO of Lagos State. Now, you heard what he rightly said. Now, reports of robberies and likes have been reported around Lagos since the extension of the lockdown. Would you say the lockdown is the reason for this? Let me go with you, Dickson. Though he has come to dispel most of those rumors and said there's nothing of sort actually going on in Lagos State.
Elkanah made this statement while I was with him on STV some few days back. He still made the same statement while I was with him at Super Screen. So he has been publicizing this fact that the state has the capacity and there is no threat. The threat is everywhere. We perceive the threat, we see the threat. And if he tells us that there is no criminal activities or some criminal elements carrying out attacks on innocent Nigeria, I think I will stand to disagree with that fact. In the area where I'm going to agree with him is having this unorganized community security, posing fear to the state, to the environment. Because like the area where I live, I observed that just between yesterday when I was coming back home, I saw a lot of guys with machetes, some small arms and ammunitions, and the essence of security was defeated because people failed to understand that once fear is activated in security mechanism, the purpose of security is defeated. And that's when we talk about security, is the totality of the freedom of fear or being intimidated or coerced. So the hoodlums, the people that tends to protect their community, they are really unorganized, and that is not a good one. And that was how terrorism sprang up. Because at the end of this COVID-19, or at the end of this scenario, what next?
Now, Adekoya, it was reported that landlords and youths have been depriving themselves of sleep at night just to form vigilante groups and complement the efforts of security agents in order to stop the attacks. Now, you heard the PPRO said that Lagos has the best security apparatus in Nigeria with the best trained personnel. How does this come up to you? You want to react to this quickly?
Well, we need to compare oranges with oranges and not oranges with apples. So if you say Lagos has the best security in Nigeria, then what exactly is the level of security in Nigeria? If every now and then we hear that people die, people are kidnapped, and it's 100 today, it's 200 tomorrow, it's 50. How do we go? So fairly say that Lagos is fairly resourced. Do they have all the personnel they need? Not at all. Do they have all the resources they require? Not at all. Do they have a political structure that supports the police? Yes. Are the populace understanding? Yes. Is the task enormous? Absolutely. 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 They don't have enough manpower and I say this on good authority, to address the issues in security. But the police are doing the best they can. And to be fair to the police, yes, they did respond to the issue at Bagada. I saw for myself firsthand 6 police trucks with personnel around the Oshoke axis trying to calm things down. So the issue, it's what it is. It's neither here nor there. But I guess the first PRO must say something to support his constituency. That would just be my position.
Yeah. Now, videos made the rounds. We saw videos on social media, and here he was still trying to dispel the fact that for most of it, people are panicking based on rumors, hearsay, and that for most of the things that they did talk about, nothing actually did happen.
I
tend to disagree with the PPRO because we have a lot of reports from some area of Lagos, Oshodi, Agege, and some area where there are criminal activities, you understand what I'm saying? And for him to have come on board and say nothing happened, I think that's not true. The only fact I understand him is the fact of the unorganized security architecture, people trying to protect their communities. Landlord and the house owners keeping vigil to ensure that their community are safe from these 1 million boys. Because I personally, I saw such security facts from those gatherings. But I'm not satisfied with the way the communities and streets come together to, render security service to the community. It's scary, it's very scary. I was with a friend yesterday, and my visitor was so scared, I told him not to panic because, you're approaching somebody on the street and you see him with knife, cutlass, and various kind of arms, which is so scary, and you cannot differentiate them from the 1 million boys. How do you differentiate these people? Because there is no code of dressing. There is no way you can tell if these are 1 million boys or these are people that are protecting the street, or if these are street urchins. So what really is going on now is a security menace, security failure, because the police need to come aboard now and they have to be reactive, because while I was coming, I saw the police guys on checkpoints. That does not solve policing. Policing is not about mounting checkpoints. They need to go before the laws. They need to go into the community, go into the streets. Tell these people that, hey, if you keep on carrying on your arms and ammunitions, or you brandishing your cutlasses, it's going to result to fear. And when fear is activated in any given environment, security is defeated.
Now, Adekwa, let's take a look at our security architecture in the light of COVID-19. Prior to the emergence of COVID-19, we were dealing with insurgency, kidnappings, and killings all around the nation. And now we're battling with COVID-19, where people of necessity have to be indoors by order. And we'll begin to see boys take to the streets. Let's take a holistic look at our security architecture in the light of COVID-19. Do you think our security personnel are overwhelmed at this point in time?
Well, without any doubt, we are faced with a Hydra-headed problem. Don't forget, Boko Haram is still raging in the northeast. Do not also forget that the incidents of kidnapping and banditry is still going on in the northwest. The header-farmer clashes has not gone away. It's not every part of Nigeria that is on lockdown. Some of the issues you're seeing really are issues of robberies, armed robberies. So let's first do a proper threat analysis and let's map the source of risk and threat in Lagos. Okay, some of the incidents you see are pure cases of armed robbery, opportunistic crime, vandalism. Okay, then there's the issue of 1 million boys operating within a certain area.
Adekoya, did you think this is necessitated by the lockdown, in any way necessitated by the lockdown?
Absolutely. Now, what's the unemployment rate in Nigeria? About 30% and 3%. That number will jump to 40-50% at the end of the day. We don't even talk about the informal sector. The bulk of the people in the informal sector are daily wage earners. So people are not earning wages. Lagos State went into a 2 weeks lockdown before the federal government announced their own 1 week lockdown, which has now been extended. So pretty much you are looking at the commercial nerve center of Nigeria being locked down for effectively 1 month. So the people will become restive because, you must approach security with a carrot and stick approach. You want to achieve a lockdown, you must provide palliative. So again, the issues met us ill-prepared. It met us in a state of quagmire already. It met us with a budget deficit of about 4.2 trillion, 4.1 trillion. So we were already in a very bad shape before COVID-19. When you add COVID-19 to the cocktail, it becomes rather very, very dangerous. So we are almost at a cliff edge, and Nigerians have been very reasonable. States and countries like Zimbabwe and South Africa, they've had to call out the military. So we are where we are. You wouldn't solve the problem immediately at this time. We will try to manage with what we have, to police the army, but post-COVID-19, hard conversations must be held. The security architecture we are talking about is failing, and will continue to fail as constituted. So the states must have state police. Everybody's talking about the president, the state governor. Who is mentioning the local government chairman? Where are the LCDA chairmen at this time? They are also the chief security officers of the communities. So what are they doing to address this instead of security? Rather, you find local government chairmen, with due respect to them, building houses in Ikoyi, moving to Lekki, out of their constituency for their own safety and security. Therefore, they don't feel the pulse of the people. What we should find at this time are the local government chairmen meeting with the CDA chairman, meeting with the CDC committee as constituted in the local government to address the issues of hunger, to address the issue of youth restiveness, to address the issue of uncertainty, and to provide a sense of leadership and direction. Nature abhors a vacuum. So where the local government are not providing leadership at the community level, you will find a state of hysteria, as you find currently pervading the whole of the society. So clearly, some things must change, and we must hold ourselves to account to change the approach to security post-COVID-19. But now, I'm just using this platform and medium to call on the local government chairman to come to the table and show themselves as leaders.
Now, Dickson Osajie, in the light of what is happening, we're faced with an Hydra-headed monster as it is right now on every front, and given COVID-19. Would you ask, do you think this lockdown should be extended after now?
If the lockdown is extended, Nigeria might possibly explode, you understand? Because as Onyekachi rightly said, we were not prepared for this lockdown. And Nigeria is a state whereby we don't prepare for things like this emergency response.
And he also did agree that our security personnel are overwhelmed. And if they are, what is the solution?
Our security personnel has been overwhelmed right from time. We need a foundational revamping of our security agencies. And that is just the truth. Because when Boko Haram sprang up, the government were quick to send in the military to go and see if they could be able to deactivate these guys, which was not possible. And now we are having a COVID-19 disaster issues, and we have a lot of guys out there who cannot feed, who cannot take good care of themselves. Because the truth is, when you go into the triangle of crime, one of the reasons why people steal is because of opportunity, or the second reason why they steal is because of desirability. Why the first reason why people crush to steal is because of need or greed. Now we have a lot of people that are hungry. They are in need of their daily bread. They are in need of their daily waters. And if they cannot find that, they will definitely resort to crime. But the only way this can be curtailed is when we have a magnificent policing system that can cut off the opportunity, because the only way you can strike the criminal element is to cut off the opportunity. If the opportunity exists, they will continue to strive, and they are striving, they are succeeding. Because Lagos, the reason why Elkanah, the PRO of Lagos, is still bragging with the effectiveness of the police, which I agree with him, because Sarabot Peace, the founder of modern policing, says that the absence of crime best describe the effectiveness of the police. So I agree we have a small crime rate within Lagos. The reason why that is because we don't have much of urban space. You know, the reason why crime flourishes in some states like in the north is because of the urban space. Because when these guys strike, they will fly to the urban space and take shelter, come back to the urban space, strike and go back to the urban space. So for me, if the federal government, I would not advise the federal government to extend the lockdown. What they should do is to put a mechanism in place so that this pandemic will not spread. Endeavor that Nigerians put on their masks, their face masks, social distances. Maybe in a company where you have about 100 staffs, 200 staffs, they should mitigate it and reduce them to like 50, maybe, you know, spread them. And then transportation system should also be, you know, educated. But let's just tell us the truth.
How effectively control can that be in that we have places like Market Square? I mean, would you now regulate the amount of people that are going to the Market Square? Because all of these businesses need to be open. I mean, how do you control people who go into the Market Square when it comes to that?
When you go to my 12 for now, you will know that the lockdown is just a play. It's a rehearsal. Because when I went to my 2, I said this is a disastrous situation. And I don't think the government can control, regulate the marketplaces.
Right. Now, before we go to move to the next segment, Adekoya, the Lagos PPRO also did mention the spread of panic among these Lagos communities. But what do you think, if this panic isn't on check, what could be the following effects? Because he referred to them as panic and rumors.
Like I said, nature abhors a vacuum. Okay, so where there is no leadership provided at the community level, people will cling on to any information that they can find. It's called the herd mentality, and particularly when you study how crowds behave. When the crowd gets onto a mob mentality, which is what my colleague in the studio is talking about, you have people with sticks and staves that are not committed to any standards, no international charter, jungle justice, and erroneous killings of people will become the order of the day. So, I mean, if people continue at this pace, we will create a situation for some people to explore to their own advantage. Already in some parts of Lagos, people are already paying 1,000 for security to these people to protect them. Next thing you're going to find is an entrenched system where people are making money from post-COVID-19, they don't want to leave. So that is the issue. But quickly, I'd like to add that I also support the claim that we should recover the economy. Already, crude oil is at wherever it is right now, $22 per barrel. Budget deficit of about 4.7 trillion. The budget is out of the window as we speak. If the government doesn't open the economy, it can't even begin to collect tax. I want to pay tax. Tax is due. VAT is due by the 21st. Nobody's working. So the state government themselves, it's no longer sustainable. We have to take a lead from other countries that have opened up to find measures to ensure safety, security, and check the spread. But the economy has to be reopened so we don't have a bigger problem. People should feel sorry for government at this time. So there is no revenue. We need to open up so that taxes can start flowing, so that the essential services can be guaranteed. Anything beyond April, we may have a bigger problem on our hands.
You're with us on the second segment, but thank you for your contribution in this segment. And also to you, Dickson Osajie, thank you very much for your contribution. And thank you for staying with us. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF boss Mustafa, has some things to say. This is up next for discussion. We'll be right back.